Recycler, deploy on Eastern Geyser and build Razor.
Acknowledge, Grizzly 1.
Turret 2, take up position next to Turret 1 at Western Entrance.
Yes, sir. Grizzly 1, radar arrays detect an unidentified craft approaching from the northern canyon. Razor complete.
Razor 1, take my wing. Let's investigate.
Yes, sir. Grizzly 1, we have a large force approaching from the east. Await additional information. Grizzly 1, bogies dropped off radar.
Razor 1, take my 6.
On my way.
I'm gonna thump them.
Grizzly 1, return to base immediately. We have a massive Soviet force approaching.
I'm on my way.
Grizzly 1, they're coming in fast.
Razor 1, let's move to intercept.
Grizzly 1, I need help. There are too many of them. Let's see, hold on.
I'm in trouble. I've got to eject. Hey guys, Silvertorn here, and I've done this intro like 6 times in a row now! Man, this is a great start! This, though, is probably one of my favorite old games, which explains part of the reason why I'm trying again and again. This particular game is Battlezone. Specifically, it's called Activision's Battlezone, or at least it used to, because that's the company that put it together back in 1998. The fact I said 19 to start off with the year should really tell you things. As of this day, it's 16. This game should be like 18 years old now, if I'm right. I believe so. It was just recently remade on Steam by another company. You probably saw it in the intro. I already can't remember, and I feel horrible. Oh well. This particular game takes place in the Cold War, so your stereotypical good guys are the United States, and the bad guys are the Soviet Union. What you gonna do? It was that time period. You're fighting over some material known as biometal. I'm gonna get more into that later on. This game, though, is a very unique genre, a strategy first-person, in this particular game, tank simulator. And that is a rather unique genre, a first-person strategy? Very difficult to pull off right. Most people don't. It's not even done that often. I feel this game did so adequately. Let's see, instant action, related to the fact this is a remake, there are mods and stuff. Save game, self-explanatory. Combat exercises are training. The Red Brigade is the Soviet missions. That's technically the advanced campaign, and compared to most other games of this era, it is canon. I kind of like that the quote-unquote evil campaign is canon. But that is the advanced campaign, you start off with everything. So instead of getting into that, we're going to go into the Stars and Stripes, the American, and you're going to start off slowly getting more and more things as you go through. When you start the campaign, you come up with this little screen here where it zooms into the planet you're on. In this particular case, you're on a moon. Earth's moon. Tell you details about the planetoid you're on, bit of information on the mission, the objectives. Get in a vehicle, have the recycler build a scavenger, have the scavenger get biometal. Easy. So we're going to get right into things, because I have a lot to talk about in things. So much to talk about in things. I think I mentioned the loading screens are new. I kind of like the old ones more, but I'm not going to fuss too much. It's nice to see the vehicles. But there's voice acting coming up, so I'm not going to talk over it. Probably.
Sometimes it bugs me that Armstrong and Shepard get all the credit. But we all wanted to win the Cold War. And we were ready to commit our lives to getting the biometal. The military boys used all the material that had fallen to Earth. And they still needed more. They went looking for a few cowboys to do the job, and in the end they orchestrated the world's biggest cover-up.
They snuck a whole army into space and not a soul knew a thing. But now it's time. People should know why it was so important that we won the space race. People should know what happened to all those who went missing. The dead should get their honors. They should have their place in history. because history has a way of repeating itself.
Commander, we've discovered a deposit of biometal along with some strange radar signatures. Build a scavenger and escort it to the biometal deposit.
Whew. Good news. Game did not crash. The crash I was dealing with is whenever you tried to move around, game would crash. So we fixed that. Go for us. Alright then. So, like I said, an action strategy game. And we have a rather interesting HUD. The upper left, we have basically the control for the strategy portion. I'll get more to that later. The lower left is the map, lower right is the weapon stuff, and upper right is technically a targeting thing. Currently though, we are looking through one of these things directly in front of me. A camera. You see I select that one, it moves, and as we turn, it faces the direction that we're facing, and we can see through it. It's just a camera. The one we were looking at, if we press the 4 button, we will see that there's 2 scrap field. That's what we're looking for. Nice view of the Earth over there. You can press the caps lock to change the map. There's the normal map like this. I kind of prefer having this map a lot of the time, though, because it looks better. Alright, now then, a fun little trivia thing. In the lore of this game, the picture that was taken of landing on the moon, because traditionally who was supposed to land on the moon, I believe it was supposed to be, it's definitely Neil Armstrong, and I think the other person was Buzz Aldrin. The person who was up in the orbiting module should have been Michael Collins, I think his name was. His last name is Collins regardless, and in this game, he is the general you report to. In the lore of this game, he was actually the one who took that picture, and actually one of the members on the moon. Fun little detail there. Alright, now let's get into things. Start off with, like I said, this is a first-person strategy game. Now you're thinking, it's like, how is this going to work? Well, interesting, like I said. There are limits on how many offensive, defensive, and utility things you can have, which we have no defensive or utility yet. Offensive, none of them are manned, so you can see their health and their ammo, but nothing more. You can see we have a tank over there. We have a scout, a bomber, and a light tank. Let's take a look at each of these. The Grizzly medium tank. Well-rounded battle tank. It's got 4 weapon hardpoints, 2 cannons, a mortar, and a special. We're going to use that a lot throughout the game, so I'm not actually going to use it in this mission. The light tank, the Bobcat, has a rocket, a cannon, and a special selection. We're probably going to use that decently often as well, so I'm not worrying about using it right now. What I'm probably going to use is the Thunderbolt. Fast, but unmaneuverable. The Thunderbolt, however, has a lot of health, 2 rocket slots, and a cannon. A lot of ammo as well. And of course, the Scout, which is the Razor light attack vehicle. Fast, light armor, 2 cannons, and a rocket. This Razor Scout I actually kind of like as well, but like I said, we're going to be using the Thunderbolt for this. Now, the other things in this game. This vehicle over here, the Recycler. This is kind of like your main production facility. It can only make basic things, but this is where all your resource gathering comes from, and it produces other buildings that produce. We'll get more into that later. A lot of the buildings you see around, there'll be in some missions, but we can't actually build them. Power plants, hangar to allow you to repair. This up here, the communication tower. We technically have it in this level. I could show you what it does. I'm not... Yeah, screw it, I'll show you what it does. Press 9.
Satellite activated.
Traditional first-person, or traditional strategy camera. We're not worrying about that too much. I'm going to try to avoid using it. Another thing you notice is that I am on foot currently. Being on foot in this game is a horrible idea. You will die the first time something sneezes at you. Also, by the way, this is literally how fast the bomber turns. Literally. It is a brick. Now, the other things of note, these right here. These are specialty little weapon pickups, and they replace a weapon. This particular weapon here replaces a cannon, and it's kind of a joke item in the game. It's only like in this first mission and several like multiplayer maps and custom stuff. It's the Rave Gun. It's kind of hilarious. It's stupidly powerful. Just take a listen. Yeah, can anyone else say Sweet Rave Party? Anyway, let's get on with what we're supposed to do. If you look at the BOP, you'll see that we have... the top, you'll see that we have 5 scrap out of 30 and 2 pilots out of 10. Pilots usually isn't that much concern. The scrap, however, is. Now that if we highlight over the recycler, you see we can press space to select it, or we could just hit 5 anywhere on the map. And you'll see up there we have 3 things we can build. We can build an ammo, a repair, or a scavenger. Ammo and repair are kind of like the rave gun pickup. They just refill your ammo, refill your health. A scavenger, however, is a vehicle. And we need a scavenger. Because a scavenger is our gather unit. And we need to gather biometal, which is actually kind of the point of the mission anyway. This over here, by the way, is another collectible item, the pop gun mortar. The bomber, the Thunderbolt, does not have any mortar slots, so we're not worrying about that. Now then, biometal. It is a bioorganic mineral, pretty obviously, and it is through biometal that you're able to produce stuff like this scavenger and this hover tank and get like smuggle an entire army onto the moon. A bunch of stuff like that. So it's kind of obvious that why this is the thing that both sides are fighting over. There is more to it.
Situation. Unidentified vehicles are approaching your position from the southwest.
There is more to it, but we have unidentified vehicles. And if you can see in the camera, they have the Soviet star on it. Yeah, that there, by the way, is how powerful the rave gun is. Also, I don't know if you saw it in time, but when I destroyed that vehicle, you saw the pilot eject straight up. Another enemy over here. We saw it on radar. These particular vehicles over here are called flankers. They are essentially the Soviet analogy of the Razor Scout. I kind of like flankers more, to be honest. Just a little bit. I feel like we're going to have that Soviet pilot land at some point, but I don't know where he is. I know if I start getting shot at, I'll know he's around. Not worrying about it too much right now. I think there is another flanker coming our way, though.
Commander, our instruments show that you are heavily outnumbered. Protect the scavenger and retreat to Outpost 3.
Another thing to go on with the controls, you have your standard WASD, W is forward, ASD, you have strafe backwards.
Unfortunately, we've got another scavenger out there that's being threatened by Soviet wingmen.
Go take care of that. W is forward, A strafe left, D strafe right, S goes in reverse. You can also press Q for slow forward. You're pretty much never going to see me use that. And E is kind of like a jump jet. You go up in the air a little bit. It's useful if you're trying to get some air, but not much over than that. And there is another flanker coming up. By the way, there's the rockets. The rave gun is better in pretty much every way. The bomber is pretty obviously going to be used for stationary slow targets, so like structures for the most part. It's powerful, it has a lot of armor, but it is so difficult to aim. There is one other main combat vehicle which was not in that setup there, which is one I prefer to use, but it wasn't in the setup there, so, and I typically use it anyway, so I wasn't gonna just select it there. I mean, that wouldn't make sense. I feel like there's gonna be another flanker that comes to attack us, but I don't know. Apparently not, I don't see it on radar. Also, identify this.
Good work, Grizzly One. We've confirmed that the hostile vehicles are of Soviet origin. They've maneuvered around Outpost 3 and are headed towards Eagle's Nest 1. Await further orders from NSDF Command.
Yep. And that there is the first mission complete. Now then, I'm going to be trying to do pretty much a mission of video, which is why I kind of lingered around as long as I did this first mission, because even with me wasting time, that only took 12 minutes. Later missions are going to get longer. Oh boy. They are going to get longer. But, like I said, that's enough for this time. Got you introduced to the game. There's still a lot more to go over. This barely scratched the surface. Just a nice little tutorial. Give you access to all the vehicles in the game. Have you destroy like 4 or 5 different scouts all at once. Give you a super overpowered gun that any vehicle there can mount. It wasn't that bad. They're going to get a little tougher going forward. But we'll cover that next time. Later.